Ladies and gentlemen, Namaste and good evening. On behalf of the Embassy of Nepal, it is a pleasure for me to welcome you to this special occasion of the Constitution Day and the National Day of Nepal. It is also my distinct honor to welcome in our, celebration today, a lot of people that you will love to interact with later. Among whom you'll also be meeting would be Ms. Alice Albright, CEO of Millennium Challenge Corporation. MCC is undertaking a path-breaking work in Nepal in collaboration with the government of Nepal, the results of which will speak prominently for itself in the years to come. I would also like to welcome Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, Afreen Akhtar, whom I have the, pleasure of working very closely at the State Department. It is also a pleasure for me, today, to specially welcome her husband, Jake, whom I had the pleasure meeting yesterday, and thank you for coming today. We're also fortunate to have with us Senior Director at the National Security Council in the White House, Rear Admiral Eileen Lobacker, who will also be visiting Nepal in the near future. I'm glad to say that this will be one of the many high-level visits between our two countries that we will be seeing in the months to come. Additionally, it is also a great pleasure for us to welcome two old hands on Nepal, Assistant Administrator Anjali Kaur from the USAID and Deputy Vice President Jonathan Brooks from the MCC. When I say old, I mean I'm older than them in terms of age. They know Nepal quite well because they have been there a long time. We are also happy to welcome World Bank Vice President for South Asia, Martin Reiser, and many other officials from the USTDA, USTR, and DFC. Your presence here on this day speaks volume about the state of Nepal-US bilateral relations and your support for strengthening democracy and ensuring economic prosperity of Nepal. Let me begin by extending my warm greetings and best wishes to my Nepali compatriots living in the United States and to our American friends, both of whom are the most valuable assets Nepal has in the United States. In addition to interacting with members of the Nepali American community in the DMV area, this year I had opportunities to interact closely with Nepali American communities in Texas, some of you you'll see here tonight, and also in Colorado, whom you'll also see here tonight. I hope to reach out more to others in the remaining states in the days to come. Since the Constitution was promulgated on 20th September 2015, two cycles of elections have been held successfully at the federal, provincial, and local levels, resulting in peaceful and orderly transfer of power in our country. Nepal has a free and vibrant media and civil society, which is another prerequisite for a thriving democracy. We are also committed to equality, inclusion, and social justice by ending all forms of discrimination against women and disadvantaged communities. Just to give you an example, Nepal today stands as one of the few countries in the world that has a mandatory one-third representation of women in parliament. And where today, women also make 41% of total elected offices at the local level. Distinguished guests and friends, today is also the occasion to celebrate the strong bonds of friendship that we have forged between our two nations over the last 76 years. Our relations are based on mutual trust, cooperation and respect, as well as shared values of democracy, human rights, and freedom. Nepal is especially proud to be the select group of countries invited by President Joe Biden to participate in both Summit for Democracy. Former Prime Minister Shreedhar participated in the first event in December 2021, and Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda participated in the second event in March of this year. Just a week ago, on 20th September, on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly session in New York, our Prime Minister also addressed an USAID flagship program on Democracy Delivers. It was hosted by the USAID Administrator Samantha Power, and the lead speaker was Secretary Antony Blinken. On that occasion, the Prime Minister specifically noted that democracy can only sustain itself and grow with, and I quote, commensurate advancement in economic front, unquote. We in Nepal firmly believe that Nepal-US development partnership is an important component for advancing Nepal's democracy and development together. Last year, we signed with the USAID a development objective agreement that will channel $659 million for a 5-year period towards achieving Nepal's goal of graduating into a middle-income country. If we add to that amount to the grant from the MCC Compact of $500 million, the U.S. assistance to Nepal for the next 5 years will come to around $1.159 billion, which is very substantial. In August this year, the MCC Compact entered into force. The timely completion of the Compact in the next 5 years will mark a major milestone for Nepal in developing its infrastructure, which is an essential prerequisite for its economic development. In terms of trade, the United States remains second largest export market for Nepal after India. There is ample scope to enhance these linkages in the future. And believe me, we're exploring that possibilities also. Our people-to-people relations are, to put it mildly, robust. This can be seen in many areas. The contribution of more than 250,000 Nepali Americans, and I am being very conservative when I say 250,000 Nepali. The estimates are much higher. In the U.S. extends beyond remittances and philanthropy. They serve as cultural ambassadors, fostering understanding and goodwill between our peoples. We welcomed over 72,000 U.S. tourists to Nepal last year, which is still not the level of the pre-COVID figure of 96,000. With the assistance of the USAID this year, we have made major push to promote American tourism in Nepal. Annually, around 12,000 Nepali students arrive in the US for higher education, placing Nepal at the 12th rank among the major source countries for international students coming for higher studies in the United States. Around 3,900 Peace Corps volunteers have served in Nepal since the program began in 1962, which has left another lasting impression of the goodwill of the American people towards Nepal. I consider myself especially fortunate to have so many former American ambassadors to Nepal here in the Washington area, who have been kind enough to provide words of encouragement and support for the job we do at our embassy. Once again, let me thank you all for joining us in celebrating our National Day today. My thanks also go especially to my colleagues at the embassy and all the service providers involved in organizing this special event. Thank you.